guys? And welcome back. Episode 2 of Loud and Proud. Me and Jazz, we're back.
Yeah, we are. It. Sorry. I was just throwing the horns up to the camera
there. So we had some technical difficulties yesterday. One of us made a complete cock up. I won't mention any names.
No, I'm gonna. It was you.
Okay. It was me. I fucked up, okay? I fucked up, but who cares? Right, we're moving on from that. But yeah, episode 2. So for all of those of you that are listening on Spotify, how are we doing? Everyone who's on YouTube, hi, you can see us. Hi. Jazz, take away. Let them know what we're discussing today.
Yeah, man. 30 years, the Black Album this week. I think it was 2 days ago. So what better thing to discuss other than Metallica? You know, it's a pivotal moment for them.
Yep, Metallica, 30 years, Black Album.
Yeah, it's a pivotal moment for them, having like 30 years on that bad boy. And I think that album has, it's inspired so many bands and stuff like that. And it's inspired so many people to like start playing guitar as well. So yeah, I thought absolutely we need to talk about that album today.
And that's what we are doing, 30 years Black Album. So let's talk about it, Jazz.
We haven't spoke about this one yet.
No, we haven't. It's weird. This is like the first time ever speaking about this. So let's go. Black Album. Thoughts about the whole, Black Album in general.
The Black Album is a biggie for me because that is the album that started everything. It's like the first song that I heard on that album was Sad But True. I was at a distant relative's house and I heard the most crushing guitar tone ever coming out of when YouTube was just becoming a thing. And I said, what's that? He said, oh, it's Metallica. And I was like, Metallica who? And yeah, so it's just like, right, well, you need to study, but I just like sort of like kicked him off the computer, put my earphones in, and I just needed to hear that song so badly. I'd never heard anything quite like it before.
Right.
And it was just the slow groove of that riff, the main riff, which absolutely turned everything round for me. So yeah, that's a very important album. That started everything, and then hence that's started the obsession and the rabbit hole of trying to learn to play, because I was already playing guitar at that point, but I didn't quite know what I wanted to do with it. I went back to my guitar teacher. My guitar teacher would say at the start of a lesson, right, what do you want to do? And I said, have you heard of Metallica? And he was like, yeah, maybe. I think I have. And I said, I want to do that. And it's like, right, okay, now we're talking. And yeah, that sort of sent me down the rabbit hole of heavy music, I guess. And that album is probably the reason why I'm sat here today doing this thing, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's influenced, you know, many musicians, bands, and it's a unique album, like we've discussed previously once. The guitar tone on that album is just legendary. You can't beat that guitar tone from the Black Album. It's raw, it's filthy, it's dirty. But then when it came to the clean stuff, like Nothing Else Matters, that clean was probably one of the most iconic clean tones ever because it was glassy clean.
Yeah.
I obviously had no idea how they achieved that clean tone, because that's just something about it that I don't think could ever be recreated. Same with the heavy tone as well.
Yeah, I agree. It's all a combination between that, James Hetfield's right hand and his articulation.
Yeah.
If you're not, I mean, I've used Bias Effects. There's a tone match on there by the DMO Metal guitar channel on YouTube, and he makes like awesome tone captures. And then what he does, he sticks them on Bias Effects, then uploads them to the Tone Cloud for everybody to use. And whenever I've done a Black Album guitar cover, I've used his Black Album tone. I've used his Ride the Lightning one as well, which is mint. But the Black Album one, as close as it is, it's so you've got to be so accurate with it. And James has such articulation in his right hand. He's so accurate, and if you haven't got that articulation, it just doesn't work. So it's a combination between a lot of things, I think. And of course, Randy's engineering and Bob Rock's producing. You know, whenever people have said to Bob Rock about what do you think of that album now, he just says, I think about the hours and hours and hours of trying to fit all that into 2 monitors, like that wall of sound.
Both
stopped at the same time there.
I've a drink break. Cheers. If you're drinking, have a drink break with us now.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh, wait, he's having another one. Shall I have another one? Oh, shit. This is a vicious cycle. I mean, there's a lot that went into
that.
Don't
keep pace, guys.
Don't try and keep up. I mean, Bob Rock done like an amazing job with that, and everyone behind the scenes of the Black Album, I think, just what the end product of that was just something unreal. For me, the Black Album was a big one. It's the Enter Sandman was the first like Metallica riff I heard played on guitar, and I remember hearing it and just thinking, whoa, I had no idea what a riff was. I didn't know what guitar tone was, and I didn't know what Metallica was, but I heard this noise and it was this riff, and I was just like, wow, what is that? And it was my mate just ripping the Sandman riff through some like old school Marshall combo amp with an old school Ibanez Tube Screamer, which was just so good. And the combination of those two was just insane. And for me, then on, it was like, right, I need to know more about this. So I listened to more of the Black Album. And for those of you that remember the 1.5 years in the life of Metallica documentary, I used to borrow that VCR, a fucking video. That's how far back this is going. And I just used to watch it religiously because it had such an insight to the process of that album. And there's certain parts in there where you see Hetfield just like playing riffs, like there's the Wherever I May Roam bridge kind of riff, the Trilly one, which I just used to be fascinated watching. And he also plays the riff behind the solo of Unforgiven, which is just such a simple, A, C, E.
Yeah.
But played right, it's just, I used to just watch it and think, oh, I want to be this guy. I want to be cool like this guy, you know? And yeah, listening to the Black Album, it just, songs on there. Enter Sandman, Sad But True, Rome, and Nothing Else Matters are the 4 for me that have stuck with me a lot from that album, because they're the ones I kind of listened to, because they were mainly on TV, weren't they? For the videos. For Sandman, Sad But True. Yeah. Rome and Nothing. So those were the 4 for me that really stuck with me. They're fucking great songs. And I remember learning them, back when I was a shit guitar player and I didn't know what I was doing. Which isn't too far back, I guess, because, I'm not that great still. But we're working on it, right? We're working on it. Jazz, Blacklist. What do you reckon? What do you reckon about the Blacklist?
The Blacklist is something that... well, not to suck all the energy out of this or anything, but like it's something that I wasn't really really interested in. That Volbeat cover of Don't Tread on Me, as somebody who's never listened to Volbeat before, oh my god, I think I prefer that to the actual song itself, only because I've lived with it for so long. But the rest of it, the other thing I would say is the remaster of that album. That is the most perfect sounding album ever. Don't fuck with it. Don't change it. It sounds absolutely perfect as it is, and everything just sounds on the remaster. So everything just sounds like isolated. It's the only way I can explain it. Everything just sounds so separated. And I don't know if they were just trying to get a wider sound or something like that. I'm not too sure, but it's like, okay, you went in and did like remasters of the old stuff. Okay, more power to you. It really brought a lot of stuff out. But the Black Album, it's absolutely perfect. Don't touch it. There's so many bands chased that production and those guitar tones and that overall sound for years. And as I've said before, that Devin Townsend, for anybody out there who likes Devi, I'm with you.
Devi, Devi.
He wanted to, he wanted to get that sound for a lot of his albums. And his first album, Ocean Machine, he went to record it at the same studio that Metallica recorded the Black Album. And he thought, well, if I use similar sorts of amp heads, similar sorts of guitar tunings, I'm surely going to achieve this. But it's like, no, you ain't. And he didn't, and he admits that. And He says that, he didn't have the ace in the pack, which was Randy's engineering and Bob Rock's production. Another cool thing, though, just as a little sort of side note there, just how big the Black Album was as an influence to other artists. He wanted to get that snap of the snare on that from the Black Album, that Lars had, just that really huge snare, and they just couldn't get it. So what they ended up doing is they took a sample from like Sad But True, da 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 da, and they caught that last da, and they dubbed that on every single snare hit on that album.
No.
So when you listen to Ocean Machine, every snare hit is Lars' drum hit.
Wow, I did not know that. That's cheeky bastards. Black Album. It's a shit 30 years. That's been. I think that's probably one of Metallica's best albums. Just for the production of it was just something I think unheard of. Like at the time, and even nowadays, you listen to it nowadays and it's still just shit. Like this is crushing. And I think as a guitar player, you hear that album in two ways. You hear it for the songs and how good the songs are, but you also hear it for like the riffs and the tone. And for a guitar player, I think that's a huge album for a guitar player.
It's a huge album for a guitar player as well, because especially if you're a beginner, those riffs aren't like Blackened or Battery where it's really complex. There's a lot of simplicity in those riffs. So you hear it and you think to yourself, well, I did anyway, at least. I was like, that sounds doable.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're just learning guitar and you want to play some heavy metal, then that album is absolutely perfect. And another thing as well that I'll say is one of my students when I was that I had back in my other teaching job, a lot of my students would get into Metallica and stuff because of me. They'd just be like, well, what do you listen to? And I'd tell them, and they'd go away and listen to it. And all of them would come back and go, yeah, some of it was a little bit too much, but the Black Album, oh my God. And I go, there you go. And one of my students hit it right on the head when he said that album, anyone could listen to that and have a good time listening to it because it's so accessible and you could just nod your head to it, despite the fact that it's heavy as balls heavy metal. But at the same time as that, he said any song on that album could have been a single. You could take any song off that album and put it out, and you get the same response because it's so consistent.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Right.
Favorite riff, favorite song,
favorite riff. Okay, favorite song is The God That Failed. That song hits hard in so many ways. It's so interesting to me. The riffs are so dynamic. Musically, it's got such weight to it. It makes for an interesting listen, and it's one of my favorite songs to play guitar. Yeah, I've said to you before, if I could just cover that song for the rest of my life, every week, I'd be happy because I enjoy playing it so much. And then favorite riff, I'm quite biased on this one, but I will say it's the Sad But True riff because it is the slow groove that set a precedent. Is that what you say? A precedent or a precedent? Either one.
I don't think it'll be precedent.
For everything that followed for me.
Precedent.
Yeah, it's precedent, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And stay in school, kids.
Yeah. Don't be a guitar player. You'd be dumb as shit. Me, it's favorite song is Enter Sandman. Although it's so like, it's so like, in a way I'd say overplayed, but it's still like amazing. But the Sandman riff is what I heard that made me think, right, I need to make this noise. This is what got me into guitar. Favorite riff is that Trilly bit in Rome, because that just, I don't know, just gives me goosebumps, man. When you play it and when you listen to it, there's just something about it that's so goddamn sexy. And I mean, like the tour as well, the live Shit Binge and Purge DVD box set that my brother bought. I remember when he bought that. You got the San Diego live show. You got the Seattle '89, which was just fucking insane. Then you got like the CDs. And I remember getting that and I was like, oh, my brother's the coolest person ever. And I'd always sneak into his room and steal it when he was like, I don't know, asleep, or if he was at work, I'd just go in and just rob it. And I was sitting, I'd watch it and watch it and watch it. And even the guitar tone on the Black Album tour was just something like unworldly. It was just a whole bunch of filth. you know. And it just did stuff, and the whole show in general was great. You know, with Kirk's like insane solos where he's dragging that Ibanez by the guitar strap up the steps, and he's like, he's on the bridge, and he dangles it over the snake pit, doesn't he? That's an awesome bit, yeah.
And then he's like rubbing his backside with it as well.
Bring back that Kirk Hammett. Let's bring that guy back. You know?
I know. Because absolutely.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, that's all. Those videos, I remember watching on repeat because I didn't have the internet at home. So when I ever get the internet, I'd just be like straight to Metallica, and I would watch the Unforgiven, that video, San Diego, over and over with James's little sort of flamenco kind of intro. Yeah. I would watch that over and over, and then Kirk has like his sort of extended leads over the end because it goes on for quite a bit.
Anyone if you're watching this on YouTube, comment below your stories about the Black Album. If you're listening on Spotify and you don't follow us on YouTube, head over to YouTube, Matt the Riff Master and
Nihilist 92.
That bitch right there. Come check us out.
A fucking nihilist.
He's a fucking nihilist. Come subscribe and comment and hang out, all that cool stuff. But yeah, Black Album, awesome. Right. Jazzy boy, next one. We've got a good one, right? We've got a next one. Do you want to bring this one in?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought what we would talk about, is Captain James Lomenzo is now back in Megadeth, which is so fucking awesome.
Now, Megadeth. Megadeth. Shit, Megadeth. Right, okay, so I'm not a fan of Megadeth. My viewers know this. Me and Jazz have spoke not that long ago, actually. It was only, not that long ago.
About 20 hours ago?
Yeah, about 20 hours ago. Musically, Megadeth for me makes sense. Dave Mustaine for me doesn't make sense, okay? He's got a weak voice, but musically they're good. And now, like...
Good guitar music.
Yeah, good guitar music. And now James Lomenzo, who is a great bass player. He's been in Black Label Society. He done Zakk Wylde's Pride and Glory project. To have him now back in the band is super cool. I'm excited for the new stuff with him. And maybe I'll actually listen to it. Who knows?
I'm into it because... I'm going to tell a story that I've never told before.
Oh, Jazz and his stories on these podcasts are always real good.
Yeah. Y'all love
Let's go. Story time.
No, for me, Megadeth, the reason why I got into Megadeth is like I was a huge Metallica head, obviously. But then when I bought my first Flying V, which was a Dave Mustaine signature guitar when I was in 6th form in school, and I went in the shop. I loved it. It was cool. I played it, and I was paying it off on my EMA money. Right, I was getting like £30 a week, whatever it was. And while I was waiting for it impatiently, I thought, well, you should maybe listen to some Megadeth. I knew what Dave Mustaine was, obviously, but maybe you should get into give him a go. And I got into him, and it was on my first experience was on a Google Video that you could get on in school, and I downloaded the Blood in the Water concert live.
Right.
San Diego again.
Oh, good old San Diego, huh?
And James Lomenzo's in that concert, and he's absolutely tearing it up. And then later on, when I got into like Black Label Society, he was there as well. So it's cool. You get these like continuities with like band people and musicians that you like. And but my first memory of Megadeth was like him playing with the band and Sean Drover at the time on drums, right, and Chris Broderick on guitar. But I just love James Lomenzo's energy. He's just one of those guys who just turns up, he plays well, and it's the same thing in Black Label on all the Doom Trooping stuff, the Suicide Messiah stuff, like when he's playing on that and all the other stuff, and Suicide Messiah with that bass line. He just throws himself into it and he just gives a show. I'll
tell you what, I've got a good James Lomenzo story. I don't know if I've told you this before, Jazz. But you guys might not know. So I went to the UK Guitar Show in London when I was like, I think I must have been like 16, right? 15, 16. My dad, Papa Riff Master, who's an absolute legend, took me to this guitar show. and we went in, and they were handing out guitar picks, right? They had them in bowls. And they're like, oh, take some guitar picks, please. And I was like, oh, cool. So I took one or two. My dad rolls around with a gift bag he was given. He just scoops up like the whole fucking bowl, dumps it in the bag. And I spoke to him about it earlier, actually. He's just like, well, they were free. What do you want me to do? It's like, all right. So James Lomenzo was there, and he was playing at one of the booths for the amp company that he played with. I can't remember the name. And I was so excited. I was like, oh, this is the guy from Black Label, you know. He's probably touched Zakk Wylde. So we met him. I had a picture. He signed. I've got a button-up shirt, Dean Guitars shirt. He signed that. And I remember asking him, standing there while we took the picture, you know, like trembling, like, oh, hello, Mr. James. I was like, how's Zakk Wylde? And he's like, yeah, he's good, man. I was like, yes, I've spoke to Zakk Wylde. Pretty much, yes. But he's like a super cool guy. Like, my dad spoke to him on Facebook, and he replied to him. Yeah, which I thought was really awesome. I was like, well, now my dad's friends with a fucking rock star, you know? What? Yeah, but yeah, no, Lomenzo, he's a super chill dude, super cool. Again, great bass player, great energy. And his stuff in Black Label was just great. Like you said, Suicide Messiah, that bass line. Down, 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 and flickada. Yeah, he had a very unique playing style, didn't he? Like, he had his bass quite high, but his whole technique was just like really cool. I used to love watching him. You know, being a guitar player, you kind of always watch the guitar players, but watching James Lomenzo, I was like, well, this guy's cool. So it's super cool to have him in Megadeth. I definitely think he's taken Megadeth now to a better place. Now we just got to get rid of Dave.
You know what's really funny? When my girlfriend moved in, I was watching Blood in the Water, and they were playing Skin of the Teeth, and she was skin off my teeth, and she was cooking in the kitchen, which is just like literally next door to the living room. She went, he just sounds like Jack Black in School of Rock when he's coming up with silly songs on the spot.
She absolutely nailed that one. That's 100% it.
She said, oh, that's what the song sounded like as a whole, I guess.
Right. So, Jazz, let me just crack this beer. What do you think, we discussed this previously, about getting our viewers on YouTube and Spotify to shoot us some questions for the next episode?
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever it is that you guys want to know, you know, or like suggestions and stuff, put them down in the comments, and we'll print them off and we'll read them out.
That would be kind of cool.
Weird. Let's get weird.
Oh shit! Yeah, you just get weird. For those of you watching on YouTube, obviously you're getting a slightly cut, edited version of the podcast because we do ramble on quite a lot, and it's. I mean, Jazz, thanks for actually letting me talk over this one. This is really cool, man. It's been nice to actually.
I've made an effort.
Like, you know, I've actually paid someone to be there with a gun to his head. But if you're watching on YouTube, you're getting like a shorter version, like 25, 30 minutes. If you want to hear the full, uncut, raw as balls podcast, head over to the Spotify, hit follow, and hit the notification bell as well, because you'll get notified when we do upload the next podcast. They'll be out every Wednesday, like that.
To the beautiful people, thank you so much for listening to episode 2. We've absolutely had a blast doing it.
But yeah, loud and proud. This is super cool. I've been enjoying it so much to actually do something with Jazz. I don't think I'm just like ripping Jazz off and stealing all his whatever you know his time. Like, he's gonna get something out of this. I'm gonna sort him out a little something.
We're gonna get married.
We are gonna have a really weird partnership where like everyone's you know don't worry about it. Cut. So guys, thanks for watching. Me and Jazz, we've had a ball. Thanks for joining us. Do everything that we said, because you have to follow us on Spotify, okay? You have to. And in true Matt the Riff Master, loud and proud fashion, raise your beer. Oh wait, Jazz, you're out, aren't you?
Yeah,
just pretend. Just pretend, because it. Oh,
well, hold on. Wait.
Fill that pint glass with whiskey. Raise your beers if you're at home. Raise your beers. Raise your beers. Beers are raised. Rock out. Be awesome. See ya.
And see ya.
Take care, guys. Peace.